Hey guys, Icy Cat here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the best ways to either attack or defend on the new map Theme Park. The new map's been out for a little bit now, but people are still getting confused on it. And this time we're going to focus on some sneaky ways to get the drop on the enemy team on each of these positions. Real quick, before we get into some of the unconventional ways to handle either attacking or defending these sites, I want to talk to you about my sponsor for this video, Swagbucks. So this is a really great website. You can go on here, it gives you a way to earn extra cash or gift cards for everyday kind of things that you use. You can use it to get stuff on iTunes or Amazon, all kinds of places that you already know and go to. Basically the way it is, you take research surveys, watch some videos, give some feedback, play some games, shop online, and you do these various things through Swagbucks. That lets you earn the rewards and get great stuff. It's something I've checked out for myself and I know a ton of other people have too. All you have to do is click the link, you'll find that in my description box below the video player to start earning extra cash and gift cards right away. Once again, big thanks to Swagbucks for sponsoring the video. The first objective room we're going to take a look at is going to be in the west side of the building on the second floor. This is going to be the area where we have a hostage. Sometimes there are some other objectives in here. This is a second floor bunk room. So a few places where defenders will commonly hole up in here is this area back behind these desks. Pretty good spot because, you know, you can be pretty defended behind the cover here and, you know, take the shots that you need to. But there is a vulnerability here. If you look on the floor, right in this section here, only this section can be blown out. So let's just take a look and see what that's like on a drone. So we can see that right underneath this panel of wood here is where that is. If we come in through this window, we can take a look at that. Now, one thing about that window too, and I'll show you what that looks like from the reverse angle, is this window, but especially the bathroom window, can be used if you're on defense and you need a quick hop out. And what you do is you do the pre-break, where you hit it twice, and then on that third one, you get the vault prompt to just break right through it. If you're on defense, as long as you have pre-broken the window down below, so I've pre-broken this one, you can see the two missing panels from it. On defense, if you need to rotate out of here quickly for some reason without being detected, you can actually hop out and then hop into this other one quickly enough. If you turn the right way, I turned the wrong way on that one, but you can get into that window without being detected once you hop out. Just turn left instead of right like I did. But the area that we were talking about before is right here. So if you have Buck or Ash or somebody like that, you can go ahead and open this up right underneath their feet. Okay, so let's take a look at a few other spots while we're down here. So this is the barrel room. This is right underneath the area where we were before. And depending on what we want to do, we can get a line on some different things here. So if the defenders were holed up in the bathroom upstairs, these little cross braces right here, these wooden beams that kind of intersect this area, if you hit this, you will get a line right on that bathroom door. So if anybody is in there, sometimes they're holding that angle peeking out. That is the bathroom in that room we were just in. So if I were holding this angle here, you know, just kind of using this wall for cover, opening up that hole right there in the floor gives me a line of sight into anybody that might be standing right in this position. Now, if somebody were back over here in this corner, maybe they were set up behind these crates, a good spot to get them from would be just to the right of where that was. So let's move our drone, take a look. So that was the hole we just made for the bathroom entrance, and just over to the right there, if they were holed up behind those crates, that would be the area you would want to blow out instead. Now let's take a look at a few different drone positions we can use in this room to get some good angles. There's actually some really great spots in here. So one of the first ones I want to show you is that you can get up into the ceiling here in any number of ways. Just by sort of jumping up on top of these, you can get up into this area, and your drone is going to be super hard to spot up here. You can tag people all day, and they're not going to necessarily know to look up here. But you can also use this as kind of a highway to travel to different sections of the room while keeping your drone undetected. I mean, they're maybe going to hear it, but it's going to be so hard to see up here. And a lot of people aren't really aware that you can do this. And you can move all over the place and get different angles and vantage sites. And it's not just limited to this half of the room. Like, there's other good drone spots over here too. You know, we can come over to like this corner here, hop up here and get on top of this bookshelf and This is a good spot. I mean, you can hide between the leaves up here, and this would be hard to see. But you can also take that one step further, and there are ways to get, like up into the ceiling up there and do the same kind of a thing where you're just hiding in amongst the ceiling tiles. And with so many of them broken out, you're going to be hard to see when you're up there getting your spots. Some other spots to be aware for drones aren't necessarily where you can jump your drone to, but where you can throw it. And not everybody thinks to use their drones this way. They usually just try to jump it to places. But there's a few different spots where, if you could make some decent use of throwing your drone, getting it into a good position, and then from here, this is not a spot that you could really jump to, but by tossing it here, you can now maintain a line of sight into that room, the hallway and the room on the left on the upper floor, the bottom left room, the bottom hallway, and the barrel room, all from the same position here. You can keep an eye on so many different vantage points. And although this is terrorist hunt mode, if we were in actual PvP, you could actually toss your drone on top of the camera and have the exact same line of sight that the Defender camera has. What's more, they may not even know that it's there, because if they see the red light, they may just, casually think it's their own camera. There are some other angles that you can do this same kind of technique on in here. Another one is if you want to come right over here under like this pink thing hanging from the ceiling, toss your drone up there, and you will get the same kind of an effect. It's a little bit different of an angle. You don't see down that bottom hallway as much, but from here you can watch that left room, the main objective room. You see a little bit different of an angle on it, but not as much of a wide angle as the one up in the corner gave us. The next room we're going to talk about is the second floor daycare. This is sometimes an objective location, and even if it's not, sometimes you'll have some roamers or something up in here, but there's a few spots that you can use to ferret people out of as well. So sometimes these points of cover will be frequently used, and if you have anybody behind here, these are the ways that you're going to want to flush them out from below. So we're just going to take a look at our drone here, and we are going to step out into the main hallway junction right above this double wide door with the arrow above it. If you were to shoot up there with Buck or Ash, somebody like that, and somebody were hiding there, they would definitely be vulnerable to being hit from below. Otherwise, you can just open it up with a shotgun and deny them a safe place to get into position. Another common one would be behind this wooden train here, and then just sort of peeking out at this door, giving them a little bit of protection from the door on the left. If they are in this spot, then you're just going to come into the first floor drug lab here, and just to the left of the double wide door, if you were to shoot up there, that would be the way to get them out of that position. The other one could be if they were back in this corner here, another spot, and again, that will be back in the barrel room. If we just come through here, right on the other side of this wall. Like if you look from the drone vent we came through, it's pretty much just straight up from there. So we were just talking a minute ago about the first floor drug lab, and that is going to be the next objective location that we're going to talk about. So when we come through here, we've got the drug storage room. This is sometimes an objective if there's a bomb in here. Otherwise, the drug lab is used for a couple of different objective types and a popular area to set up in. And so we're actually going to show you how to control this room from above. And there are some, good spots to be aware of down on the ground level. One of them is that you can actually shoot over the top of reinforcements. So even if these walls are completely reinforced, you can actually shoot over the top of the walls and then, toss in a grenade or something like that, because the reinforcement panels end right here. So you can shoot over the top of any of these walls that are a little bit taller than the panels themselves are. Another good spot to be aware of is this drone vent here. So this is right where we were in this hallway. We come through here. This is a spot that's very common for a defender to hole up in. They can be tucked in back behind this machine here and getting some cover on there. And, tossing grenades through here or even just shooting them in the feet or whatever works is a good way to kind of get a line of sight as to what's happening there. But let's talk a little bit about how to control this room from above. So right now we are in the second floor cafe. If we came in off of the cafe terrace, this would be the room that we are in. And this is a good control point. What I want to talk about real briefly, though, is how to lock down this room below. So there's a few ways to do that. You're going to want to control this hatch for sure. That's going to give you access to everything happening in the west side of this room. But the other part of the room, you can't see too well from there. If you were to stand outside the window, look in, you could sort of see back down there just a little bit. That's that drone vent we were just talking about. But we've got some other options available to us, things that are a little bit more sneaky. So if we come back to this cafe room, here's the options we have. Right when you come through this door, like pretty much immediately, if you were to put down a breaching charge or anything, just open up this floor. We've got some good lines that we can open up. This allows us to see anybody that might be hiding in this back corner here. We can see into the door that connects these two rooms from drug storage to drug lab, so we can cut off any rotation there. And, you know, we can't really see all the way to the back of the room, unfortunately, because that's behind this part of the floor, which we can't get through. But it does at least cut off that part of it. We can also watch any rotation that might be coming through the bathroom. You can get a better line of sight into anything that's happening in the bathroom by coming over here. And you can actually use this for attack or defense. If you're using it on attack, to the bottom of this refrigerator here, all the way up against the wall, you can open that up and you can watch the door that comes out into the hallway. So that is just outside here. We'll show you where that is on the drone. So we would be watching anybody coming through this door if they were to rotate through here. If you are on defense, you can actually use the same position. And what you're going to want to do is this refrigerator at the bottom of this, you're going to want to open this up. I recommend doing it from the side so you don't damage the window to give away the fact that you're up here. But now you can sit up here, and even if you want to be protected from anybody coming in the door, you know, maybe they just won't notice you if you're down low like this, and you can still watch this if they do come in through your left side there. But now you can watch this window, and if anybody tries to break in here and hop in, you're going to be able to get the drop on them right away, and that's a good spot for either attack or defense, depending on which facing you're taking. Another spot, and this is probably the most powerful position to control up here, is if you look right where this black stripe comes across here and wraps around in this corner where it curves. If you were to use anything to open up a hole in this part of the floor here, look at the line of sight we have now. We can see in the drug lab all the way to where these work tables are, right up against that wall, depending on where we open it. We can also see right below us. This is a very common area for defenders to be in this room. So you can control both parts of the east side of this room, and then if the trapdoor is open, you'll control the west side of the room too, from above. So really, really good angles. And let me just show you what that looks like. So if, you know, we're in here with our drone, we deny this whole area here. This whole area is now, you know, kind of compromised. And then this whole section of the room is compromised from that one hole. So you've cut off this half of the room. If you control the trapdoor, now you are also controlling this half of the room, and you are really denying them any kind of vantage point from being holed up in the objective location. You can also hit this from the other side. Before we were talking about how those walls in the other room are actually have openings above the reinforcements. Well, if we open these up, you can see that from this room, we can get right above it, right? And so we can do that. This is sort of like the reverse angle of the line that we just held. But you can also come, honestly, pretty far back into the room and do the same thing. Because the walls here, you can open up the top of them, and you can see over the reinforcement panel. So this is that same hole that we were talking about before. The top of the reinforcement panel ends right here. So you can open up above it and get an angle like this. Now from here, I can see straight back into that other area that we were talking about before. We can also see them if they're back behind the workshop desk here. So lots of different angles that you can work in this room. And just to show you what this looks like from below, because this is a little hard to picture from the top-down perspective, is we would be back behind here, and this is the line that we have now. So we've opened up an angle from this floor through this wall, while actually being back here, and we've just kind of got that angle going like that. That's what that looks like. Very sneaky angle, and you can do that over here too if you want to come over for a slightly different vantage or whatever you want to do. The next room that we're going to talk about is over here in the first floor, just off the haunted dining section. This is the execution room. If you are playing hostage rescue, this is a room that can easily be holed up by the defenders. There's not too many walls in here. This is the biggest wall for them to reinforce. And once they do, it's really hard to get in here. There is, of course, a trapdoor up here. So if you're on defense, you're going to want to get a hatch on there. But a thermite or a hibana can totally take that out. And that is going to give you the top-down control for this room. on anybody that's in there. Of course, as always, be very wary of roamers, because the trapdoor for this is in the monorail section, and you will easily get flanked up here. But if you can take out the roamers, you know, this is an area where you will get complete control on the room below you. Again, if the hostage is in here, they would be right there. And as you can see, even if I'm back here behind these barrels, you know, it's still going to be pretty hard to, you know, be able to control this room without worrying about what's happening from that trapdoor up above. So let's take a look at some different vantage points we have in here. If we come into first floor gargoyles, over by where this haunted house mural is on the wall, and just come over here, we can knock some holes in here. And we can see straight into the room from this spot. I mean, that is the door to that room, and you will cut off any rotation that might be happening through there, or, you know, shoot open the door and get a line of sight from that angle. You can also kind of get it, you know, more from this side, sort of do the same thing. You know, now you'll see anybody that might be kind of set up over by the barrel side of things. So depending on which side of that you want to do. You can also find some other angles from this first floor gallery room. If you come to this wall that has the pictures on them, you can open this up, and you know, we can sort of see through the doorway here into that haunted room section. Maybe make this a little bigger so we see a little bit more about what's going on. And we can hold some of these kinds of angles into that area. Another spot, and nobody is going to expect this one, but actually if this wall were not reinforced here, you could get an angle, and I'll show you what that looks like on the other side because it is reinforced. That angle would essentially be right here, and then you could see right through to here, and that red section there is the side exit to that execution room. It's a narrow angle, but you can hold that and watch anybody that might be trying to run out the other side of it. So some other things to take a look at. Got a little turnaround there. So some other things to take a look at for this room. We have that same thing going on where the walls are actually taller than the reinforcement panels are. And we can really use this to our advantage. So even if this is all reinforced here, something we can do is, you know, you can blow out the tops of these. And then if you want to do something like maybe throw out a drone, you've got a spot to do that. So you can see that, you know, you've got that open area that we've just created up there. And, of course, you can, you know, toss flashbangs in there or do whatever it is that you want. But something else that you can do, like we were talking before, throwing a drone instead of jumping it, is you can actually use this HVAC unit up here. So from here, we can see into this objective room. Our drone is pretty well protected. Not even going to necessarily guess that we've got one up here. And we can see everything that's going on. So this is a really great spot. And even if the wall is reinforced, we can still blow out this top section and get this view. There's not much that they can do about it. So a good sneaky spot to be aware of. You can also use this on the reverse angle if for any reason you wanted to watch any rotation that might be happening through here as well. The next spot we're going to talk about is just in the haunted dining room area here. This is actually very defender friendly because there's not a whole lot that you can do to crack into here as long as they've got everything properly reinforced. There's no trapdoor access to this room. Much of the ceiling is unbreakable. You do have a few spots that you can use to your advantage, though, and that's going to be up here. This wall is actually in the second floor office above us, and we're going to go up there in a minute, so I'm not going to break it down now. And just by showing you on the drone view where that is, so this is the second floor office room, and we're going to come up here in just a second and take a closer look at this. But right along this wall that has the window on it, so this is a window that you would hop into from monorail, this would be an area where you could open up the floor here, and all along this length, this is this panel right here. So this is really the only section of the ceiling that you can open up or fuse down from. But because, again, as we mentioned, these walls are double height, you can actually go ahead and open up the tops of those and throw in grenades or anything like that. All right, so now let's go upstairs and take a look at that room we were just in. This is the second floor office. We just had our drone up here. And this is another common location area. So there's some spots in here to be aware of. If you're a defender, you're probably going to be holed up in this corner over here. You know, maybe you'll use this this wall because you can't break through this wall as some partial cover. And keep an eye on the bathroom window and hallway from here, and you'll be a little protected from anybody entering the door. But you can also sometimes find a defender maybe holed up in the corner here, ready to catch anybody coming through either of these doors or be able to respond to the window. And occasionally you might get somebody that's, you know, back behind the desk here for cover. Maybe they've got a castle barricade on this window and they feel safe putting their back to that, so maybe they're back behind here, or if they know somebody's in the bathroom section pushing through, they'll sometimes be in here. So we have a few different spots that we can use to open this up. Let's just hop downstairs and see what those look like. So if I wanted to go ahead and get anybody that was in those positions, these are the following positions that I would cover. So right here underneath the gargoyle door, so we're in gargoyle first floor, we've got this green door. If we open up the floor right here, we are now looking at the section where that wall is. This is that little half wall I was just showing you. And if they're hiding in this area, you can deny them that cover position by blowing open the floor here. If you want to get them where they were a little deeper into the corner, back over here, you're just going to come to the other side of the door and open up the floor right here in this corner. And that is now the corner that is up there. So these are the two spots we just opened. This is the one, again, with that reinforced wall. We opened that up, and now we can see down from where we were. And then this is the one I just opened up. If they are in this corner, you will deny them a safe spot to be hiding. So to get into this other corner back over here, you want to knock them out of that corner. You would do so just by opening it up right there. So that would be this section over here. We have now knocked a hole in the corner, and we can, engage them from below, deny them that position. Another spot would be, we talked about this corner over here, and if they are holed up over there, then we're just going to, from that one, walk over here, right into this corner. Very simple, easy to remember, and now they can't hold up in that position. When you're playing defense on this particular spot, there's going to be a higher chance, though, of them being set up in this room. So this is the second floor cache stash. Oftentimes, somebody will be laying prone on the floor here, ready to catch anybody hopping through the window. There is a trapdoor to be wary about, that is right there. And if they're standing or, crouched, they're going to be hit from there. But if they're down prone, especially if they're tucked in against the left side, they should be mostly safe. So there's frequently a defender in this spot. And another spot is going to be back in this opposite side, right behind here. This is all, you can't get through here, so this is pretty sturdy, especially if either of these walls are reinforced at all. Catching anybody coming in through here, watching the top of these stairs. So this is another popular position. Ways to ferret out people in either of these spots are, if you come in through the loading dock area, and this is, like right off of bumper cars, or bumper cars. If you come in through this door, we've got these lockers right here. Just go straight over here. If you've seen somebody on drone, you know that they're there. You can open up this entire section, and now, right where we were before, so let's show you what that looks like on the drone. We've now opened this up, and anybody that would be laying prone here, we would take care of. Now, to get them out of this other corner on this side, we would just, let's go ahead and reload this. Come over here, first floor gargoyle room. We've got this little room off to the side here. This is storage next to this first statue. If you look at this doorway, right where this left side of the door is, and you look straight up, this is the part that we're talking about. So let's just go ahead and open this up. And now this is that area where they would be hiding behind this desk. Taking a look at that again on our drone. If they're hiding behind here, we've now denied them that cover. And you can even take it a little further back if you need to. That would just be on the other side of this wall. There's a little strip here. And you could also open that up, and, if they're a little deeper into that corner than right here, then you would also be denying them that spot to hide in any kind of safety. Okay, now let's go across the hallway to the cult initiation room. So this is sometimes like a bomb objective location maybe in here. And if you're set up in here as defense, first of all, there's a few things to know about. We've got this window here, and we can do a hop-out rotation. You can do the old double break here and then vault through the door. I'm not going to do it because my health is kind of low and I don't want to die, but you will take a little bit of falling damage. I'm not going to die, actually, but, if you hop out through here, you will actually come down and land right on the other side of this door. So you can do a hop-out, and as long as this door is already broken open, you can rotate through here without getting a detection as a defender if you do it fast. So hop out and then come in through that door as long as it's already been opened. So you will sometimes have defenders set up in here, and that's, you know, like back in this spot over here, if they've got the wall behind them reinforced, they'll sometimes be back here. If you want to open that up, that is going to be here. I'll actually show you on the drone. So if we are in the first floor gallery here, there's that trapdoor that we were just using a second ago. If we come through here into prop storage, just like this little back hallway here, right above this breakable wall is this whole area can be blown out, and that is the spot that I'm standing in right now. So this can be opened up, and then anybody that's up here, you know, you can take care of that. If they are in this other cover position, which again is frequently used, you know, just watching the door from here, for instance, if you know that they are over there, then you're just going to open up the floor in this other section instead. And this is a real easy one. So you've got this, like, you know, elaborate kind of set of cabinets and crates and pictures here. And directly above that, just to the left of the trap door, because really all that's separating those are this, like, countertop here. That's all that's separating this from the trapdoor. So if they are set up in this area, you're just going to open that up, show you what that looks like. So, you know, pretty much from right here, straight above these pictures. And now that is no longer a safe position for them to hold an angle watching that door or anything else. You can also use this room to attack the other one that we were just in before. So for the first floor, or I'm sorry, the second floor office room, if we were in here, you can, by opening up this wall, get a decent line of sight into here. And, you know, so if you're even back here, this makes it especially hard to ferret you out, because you can then hold that angle and look straight into that room. That denies them that back corner and cuts off rotation from the bathroom if anyone is holding this angle. And you're partially protected by anybody coming in through here, although you do need to still be worried about that. But at least initially, you've got some protection from that wall, although it is breachable if you come over to the left more, but right here, you're pretty protected. Another thing you can do is if you open up the top of this a little bit more, you can actually go ahead and toss a drone up here. And then from this spot, you'll be able to watch anything. Let's just turn it around. And you can sort of find the angle that maybe works for you by keeping one up here, just watching this half of the room. Another objective room you'll sometimes find is the Gargoyle's room. If there's a bomb in here, there will be one in the haunted dining room, and there will also be one in the Gargoyle room over here. It's sort of the same kind of a thing that you're going to be looking for as we were before, except it's just going to be in reverse. So anybody that might be hiding back behind these gargoyle statues, you can open up the floor right here in the middle of the room, and you'll be able to see straight down into there, keeping an eye on either side. Of course, you know, you can anywhere in here, you know, just open up the floor, and you'll be able to cut off any rotation that may be occurring back behind these different statues. You can even see back over here a little bit, although the floor joists are working against you in this case because they're going the other direction. But you can still, you know, see what's happening back there, even if you don't have necessarily the best line of sight for shooting. That's some things that you can do. Also, another spot while you're up here, this is more of a defense thing, but it's super important to open up this trapdoor in the corner if you're on defense. This allows you to rotate down. You know, you can be up here watching this door, and people are frequently not going to be looking up here because when you come in through this door, if you're an attacker, you're usually going to just come in through like this. You're not even going to pay attention to this trapdoor up here typically. You know, it's kind of like you have to specifically look up to see it, and so many people don't do that. So that is an excellent spot to get the drop on any unsuspecting attackers entering in through there. And, you know, if you want to either shoot them right away or drop down as Kaveda and do an interrogation from behind or whatever, it's a very good spot. And it's also just useful to have open just for general rotation purposes. Another reason why it's good is for defense, you can do quick runouts on here. If anybody's on the window, you know, you can come out and go ahead and get them over there before the detection even happens. So you just come out, you know, and hit them on that one. Or if they're on the other one, the bathroom window is right here, and then you would just get them on that one, and before they even realize you're out, you've already got them. So again, that would be the bathroom window, or the window that is over by the cash stash area, that window, or that one. We can also take a look at some drone spots for this room in the second floor office area. So, you know, we have a few different things we can do. Getting up on top of, you know, this, and then jumping up to the top of the clock is a spot that will get you a pretty decent vantage point. You can also come over to this desk kind of thing here, and just sort of jump up. There we go. And get into here. This is a spot that you can definitely use. You can also kind of get underneath here and then jump into some of these shelving units. It gives you a narrow angle, but you know, people are going to be very hard pressed to find where your drone is if you are in a spot like this. Another very useful spot in here, and this comes down to having more of a thrown drone position than anything else. It's a little hard to jump up here, although it is possible, but tossing a drone up top will then give you the ability to kind of look down through this window and keep an eye on what's going on, you know, back in that corner. And of course you can sort of work the lines on this a little bit and find some different angles to whatever you need to do. You know, but it's really super useful for just keeping an eye on that one back corner over there. Likewise, if we come over to the cash stash room, we encounter the same thing we had back in the second floor bunk room. It is super easy to get up into the ceiling in this area. So from just about any of the spots in this room, you know, just a little hop up and we are in the ceiling tiles, and now we can watch pretty much any spots that we can think of, and we can use this as a highway just like we did in the other spot, just being careful not to kind of, you know, roll off with the drone there. But you can definitely move all over the place here and find some different vantage points to work with, and just kind of, you know, roll around and find any angles that really work well for you. And there's lots of different ways to get up here. You know, you can get up through any of these shelves over here. And then you're up on top of the same area with the ceiling tiles, and it's very easy to just stay up here and tag out enemies that might be hiding anywhere, or, you know, just keep an eye on what's going on at all times from anywhere in this room. We also talked about the power of throwing drones up into spots where you wouldn't typically otherwise be able to get them, and you can really get into some great spots by doing that. So, you know, just coming up here, for instance, over by this window, and getting into a spot like this, we can watch the entire monorail train, both sides of that, cutting off any rotation, defenders running through here. You can just watch things all day long from up here, and you know, you can work this and try to get different vantage points and see different areas, and just, you know, whatever it is you feel like watching. But again, people are just not going to be expecting to have drones watching them from up in positions like this, depending on whatever it is that you want to watch at different angles. I mean, there's holes in this roof everywhere that, you know, you can just go ahead and toss up a drone in here anywhere. You can even do this from the roof. You don't have to do this from the inside. You can toss it from anywhere on the outside there, and also just leave a drone up here watching different spots in here that the defenders won't necessarily be thinking to look for, having a drone spot them all day long in some of these areas. And it will be infuriating for them to try to figure out just where some of these angles are being watched from. Well, that wraps up taking a look at some of our more unconventional murder holes and angles. Useful tips whether you're pushing as an attacker or trying to make a stand as a defender. Hope you learned something that you didn't know before. And in the meantime, please do like and subscribe if you want to stay up to date on all the latest news, tips, tricks, walkthroughs, and more for Rainbow Six Siege. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.